Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into BowlStreamTV.com of the 2023 Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships. We welcome you to State Championship Sunday on BowlStreamTV.com. From ESPN Wisconsin, my name's Jesse Nelson, joined by PBA. Just, if you know bowling, you know Norm Duke, and that's how I'm going to introduce you, Norm.
Well,
thank you for
Jesse.
being on with me this morning. Appreciate you hopping on the broadcast and being here at the Wisconsin High School Bowling State
Happy
Championships.
to be here. I tell you, I've been with these kids for the last 3 days, and they're just so awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
I've got so many questions to ask you about high school bowling, this event, your experience on the tour. We'll get to all that as we continue throughout our singles competition this morning. Emil Williams Jr., of course, from BowlStreamTV.com. I feel like I'm taking over your house like it's an Airbnb when I take over these broadcasts, Emil, but thank you.
It's okay. It's like the only broadcast that I can really just kind of sit back, relax, and allow maybe someone else to take the lead. You are, as Roger mentioned, the voice of Wisconsin high school bowling. And, well, what an apropos name to have.
I feel like I say that more tongue-in-cheek and it's suddenly become a thing, and I'm a little upset about it, but here we are nonetheless. And so we're getting set for our singles competition this morning. Top 5 seeds advancing after 6 games of qualifying to State Championship Sunday. The format here on Wisconsin High School Bowling's State Championship Sunday, we begin with the singles competition. Boys and girls run simultaneously throughout the morning. Then around 10:30, the girls team competition, Division I and Division II, takes place simultaneously here at Dales Weston Lanes in Wausau, Wisconsin. And then the boys co-ed team competition, Division I and Division II, takes place early in the afternoon, and that concludes the Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championship weekend, which Norm Duke has been an outstanding experience for hundreds upon hundreds of high school bowlers from all around this state.
Yeah, I think they just basically want to take me down there and beat the heck out of me on the lanes. But I haven't let them. No.
This has been just one of the most fun events every single year, and Dales Weston Lanes, again, has been an outstanding host all weekend long. I always like to reminisce when we come here, Norm, because when I was a high school bowler myself at Muskego High School, this is where we finished 5th place in the state tournament in 2010. That's the closest I've ever been to a championship in anything myself, and so I'll take that. And it's just an outstanding event. The place is packed. I was able to stop in last night, catch some of the semifinal action. Wall to wall, people are standing on chairs and doing all kinds of things, illegally placing themselves. The fire marshal would not be pleased if they stopped by, but that's how exciting high school bowling is in the state of Wisconsin.
Right, and last night, man, they had a barn burner that went to extra frames, and goodness, this place was rocking.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing last night. Watertown in the boys co-ed competition, defeating DC Everest in a roll-off, 50-49.
50-49.
Incredible clutch bowling last night. But meanwhile, let's get set for our singles competition here this morning. We'll be introducing the field once the practice for the first 2 competitors in the Stepladder final are done, which is about 5 minutes from right now. On the boys' side of the singles state championship, the top 5 bowlers from the 6 games of qualifying competing here on this Sunday morning at Dales Weston Lanes. The number 5 seed is Levi Gabriels of Bayport High School. He's just a freshman, but he is entering this competition as the number 5 seed. He'll try and run the step ladder this morning, taking on the number 4 seed from Antigo, Jack Steger. The number 3 seed, waiting for the winner of the opening match this morning, is Carter Wescott of Green Bay Preble. The number 2 seed, Logan Weigel of Sheboygan South. And the number 1 overall seed for the boys singles competition. 1 game, 10 frames. You win that, you're a state champion. And it's Braden Mallasch of Waupaca, who in qualifying through a grand total of 1,442 pins. That is a 240 average on what has been a difficult pattern all weekend long for the bowlers here at Dales Weston Lanes. So looking forward to seeing the boys competition. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side of the screen, you see the girls as they start to warm up. The thrower you just saw was RaeAnne Kalsto of Kenosha Tremper. She is a senior, a much more senior-laden competition on the girls' side. Only 1 competitor, a junior instead of a senior. The other 4 are all seniors. Number 4 seed Ava Butt of Wautoma. 3 seed Madison Venne of Racine Case is the junior in the girls singles competition field. The number 2 seed Ashlee Murawski of Kenosha Indian Trail, and the number 1 overall seed Juliana Bergman of Sheboygan North, who threw 1,281 pins through her 6 games of qualifying for a 214 average over the 6 games. exciting competition about to get underway this morning. And Norm Duke, take me back to some of the first times that you competed as a youngster, just like these kids that are getting ready to graduate high school, and the nerves, but also the excitement that you feel knowing that you're on this huge stage.
Well, in my day, we did not have high school bowling.
No BowlstreamTV.com back then?
No, and we didn't have college bowling back then either. So Pete Weber and I, we went on tour. I was 17, he was 18, and that was where we got our feet wet. And you know what? They feel exactly the same nerves, exactly the same anticipation as we did, Pete and I. And I'm telling you, I've seen the nerves firsthand when I have breakfast with these competitors, and you can see them holding their forks and they can't keep their eggs on. And I just know exactly what they're going through. And boy, I just love it, the fact that they're here and they all want to win. But I'll tell you another thing. The attitude, the behavior, bowling is in such great shape right now, Jesse. It's incredible. And these are the youngsters that are making that happen.
Every time we are able to come up to this event in particular, like, there's a lot of great events around the country that happen all the time with high schools, with collegiate bowling, but Emil talks about it all the time as well. This event in particular, and Emil, you can jump in here,
Sure.
This event just feels like it's that extra degree of excitement and enthusiasm from the crowd and the packing in at every center, no matter where we are around this state, and we're feeling that already again here this morning.
Well, you got to give a lot of credit to the BCAW as well. They created an environment that is exceptional, especially for not only high school bowling, youth bowling, but bowling in general. So anybody should be able to walk into this building today and feel what the players are feeling, understand that there is something on the line, and of course, in this case, the state titles. They've positioned the bleachers angling right onto the lanes. Norman spent plenty of time on TV, and I got to imagine this setup is very familiar to Norm. He's seen and obviously won plenty on television as well. So give a lot of credit to them, and then obviously the players, as Norm just said. But I get a chance to watch youth bowling a lot during the year, and before. Previously it was like, man, you're just kind of waiting for the future to take off. But now I just expect great things from every youth player that I see, because they are extremely talented, smart, and well coached as well. And the coaching part, well, I'm sure we'll take a little bit of part in this as well.
Yeah, and that's the reason why you have freshmen out here bowling for the state championship is because of coaching and because of their background. And we're in a hotbed of bowling right here in Wisconsin, and so you see it. I travel all over the world, and when you get to Michigan and Wisconsin and up here in the Northeast, it's just bigger, it's badder, it's faster, and it's a lot more fun when people are into it, when they're loud. Yesterday when they were bowling on the girls' side over there, the chants, you tried it. You try to figure out what they're saying, and they are absolutely into it. It is extraordinary is what it is.
It's one of the most fun events of the year, and we're happy to bring it to you this morning. The first of 3 championships on BowlstreamTV.com for the Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships. The singles competition taking place now. Around 10:30 a.m. we'll have the girls team competition, and around 12:30 p.m. the boys team competition. An exciting day from Dale's Weston Lanes in Wausau. We'll step aside for just a moment here as I get set to introduce the field as practice winds down for the singles competition. Testing 1, 2. Hey, there we are. Hey, everybody, good morning and welcome to State Championship Sunday. From ESPN Wisconsin, my name's Jesse Nelson. We're on BowlstreamTV.com live streaming today's competitions for the singles and the team competitions later today. Norm Duke is here along with Emil Williams Jr. Be sure to join us on BowlstreamTV.com. That'll be available after the competition today as well. Let's introduce our field for the singles competition. Stepladder finals for the girls singles. The number 5 seed from Kenosha Tremper, RaeAnne Kalsto. The number 4 seed from Wautoma, Ava Butt. Number 3 seed from Racine Case, Madison Venne. The number 2 seed from Kenosha Indian Trail, Ashlee Murawski. And the number 1 seed with a qualifying average of 2:14 from Sheboygan North, Juliana Bergman. And for the boys, number 5 seed from Bayport, Levi Gabriels. The number 4 seed from Antigo, Jack Steger. Number 3 seed from Green Bay Preble, Carter Wescott. Number 2 seed from Sheboygan South, Logan Weigel. And the number 1 overall seed with a qualifying average of 240 from Waupaca, Braden Mallasch. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our qualifying finalists for the state singles competition.
Oh, that's fun.
Wasn't it? Nice job.
I love introducing them. This is such a cool moment for all these bowlers, and to be able to go up there and have that recognition and be able to have this moment to shine here on Bowlstream TV, and of course competing for a state championship. And a lot of times, Norm, I find that bowlers that are in this first match at the Stepladder are in a really solid position. You can get that footing early. You know, you've got a little chance to make maybe a mistake or two because of what's going on with the competitor that you're up against. It's early, not used to bowling here at 8:30 in the morning for many of these young high school bowlers, especially after the long grind of the weekend. And if you're able to find a line here and get going early, you're in really good shape to win this competition.
Yeah, and you know, that's the same for us on tour. If you can get past that first match, then you definitely have the settle down effect going, and that is huge because nerves will kill you in this game.
No nerves out of the gates for Levi Gabriels. The freshman from Bayport strikes on his first ball over on lane 5. Meanwhile, on lane 7, Ava Butt of Wautoma collects on the spare, the number 4 seed for the girls' singles competition.
Yeah, big deep breath for both of them, starting off with a mark. I tell you, that's the hardest thing to do when you open up and your very first game of the day is mark. As you see Jack there, you see the nerves get to him just a little bit. And look, I'm going to tell you, this pattern is not easy. They're 44, I think, 42 feet down the lane, and most of the people are trying to get their ball to walk back to the pocket, and it just will not do it. I like playing lay left. You'll see the girls on the right pair, 7 and 8. They'll be playing a little more down and in, laying the ball there on the pocket and trying to get it to hold. The guys, though, they're going to try to do it with the rev rate.
You can see watching here what our pattern is for the singles competition this morning. It's been a tough one all weekend, and we've seen scores down on the team competition and for some of the singles competition as well. It's been a difficult one for the bowlers to navigate, but the best have been able to do so, and they're competing here this morning in the state championships. Open frame for Jack Steger of Antigo to begin his competition this morning. RaeAnne Kalsto on lane 8, looking to complete her spare, and she is able to do so successfully. So spares apiece in the girls' match on lanes 7 and 8. Jack Steger trying to bounce back over on lane 5, and again, having a difficult time finding a clean shot to the pocket, and I don't think that's going to be specific to just him throughout the course of the bowling that we watched today.
Oh, no, I mean, he's got a really big ball. He's got a lot of hand in it. He's not circling the lane at all. He's just trying to get it to tip up, and there's so much oil down lane, it just won't do it.
RaeAnne Kalsto on lane 7 leaves a 10-pin.
Yeah, that's a good shot right there. That's quality. She'll take that.
See if Jack can come across the lane and get this spare. He does so successfully. First mark of the game for Jack Steger, the junior from Antigo.
Not the two easiest spares to open up with, the 1-2-4 and the 2-5-8. Mercy.
Yeah, 44 feet is no stranger, right? So when you're bowling on that, the rule of 31, if you put that into place, you subtract 31 from the length of the pattern. And you saw Jack right around that 13, 14-ish area, which is where you theoretically want to be.
RaeAnne Kalsto didn't have to hit it hard, but knocks down the
Just got
spare
to knock
on
it
lane
over,
7
Jesse.
of Kenosha Tremper, the senior RaeAnne Kalsto, the best in District 3A, the greater Racine, Kenosha area, leading it with 94.4% fill percentage on the season. And we talk about District 3A. That will be featured throughout this girls' competition today, the greater Kenosha Racine area, southeast part of the state for those unfamiliar, kind of bordering the Illinois border. We've got RaeAnne Kalsto of Kenosha Tremper, Madison Venne of Racine Case, and Ashlee Murawski of Kenosha Indian Trail in the girls' competition, all from the same district.
Really?
So they are familiar with one another, and it'll be a best of the best situation here as we compete throughout this Sunday morning. Meanwhile, spare for Levi Gabriels, completed on lane 6.
Yeah, he's a two-handed bowler that really straps it, and that last shot he threw was just pretty awesome. I'm right behind it, looking down lane. That ball just had to tip a little bit. With all that rev rate, it just wouldn't do it. That is going to be the object, at least this morning, is to try to get the ball up. Get it up the hill. And you see that Ava just left the 2-8. She's battling the same things that these two-handers are.
Ava Butt has been an outstanding bowler in District 9 for the Wautoma Hornets. Her fill percentage on the season, 80.5%. As Levi Gabriels connects with the strike over on lane 5 as Ava goes for the spare coming across the lane, and she gets it with double.
Nice spare.
She had the best fill percentage in District 9 by 13%.
Oh, that's a lot.
Wow.
That's a ton.
So the next closest was 67%.
That is a ton.
She had a better fill position, fill ratio than E.J. Tackett. Here we go with Jack on lane 8. Both of his first two shots were wide. Let's see if he can make the adjustment. That looks great.
That was a great adjustment for Jack Steger, and he gets his first strike of the match. The Antigo Red Robins. Jack Steger. RaeAnne Kalsto, lane 8. That one came up squarely on the head pin. She's able to get a good break for a 9 count.
Yeah, she's happy with that 9 right there. You notice that Ava, her opponent, is using a little bit of a shinier ball in comparison. She's trying to expose the lay left that is there. If you're using a big ball, one that's sanded, then you're trying to get the ball back just a pinch. They'll go high a little bit on those as soon as they set it down a little early.
And Jack coming out of the strike.
Looked like a really good shot there, too, and I saw his coach fist pump, and he thought that was a good shot as well. But when you kind of get into that long pattern and into that 44 feet, you can get into the bucket territory, which is what Jack did there.
Yeah, there will be a lot of balls in the bucket territory. You just have to throw it so pure to get it to roll in the back end, and then you have to, you have to save from going high because you get too much hand in it otherwise. But there's just so much oil down lane. It's going to be challenging for them. But he'll take 6 spare on that strike right now, I guarantee it.
Norm, what's the feeling like when you feel like you've thrown the perfect ball and it just doesn't do anything close to what you thought it was going to?
Well, the good thing is you've thrown it perfect, so therefore you can make an adjustment based on what is a good shot off in your mind. The worst part is when you make a bad shot and you don't know whether it was you, whether it was the way you're playing them, your strategy. At least in Jack's case, he knows he threw it good. His coach knows they're making a little adjustment here. As we watch him in the pit area. Here's Levi trying to get a double. Frame 4, lane 6.
Two-handed bowler Levi Gabriels, good ball, and he does come away with that double. And he is in the driver's seat through 4 frames in this first match of the Stepladder final in the boys singles state competition. RaeAnne Kalsto, not an easy spare on this pattern. She's able to collect it, coming across the lane. She's clean through 4.
So say that's always the key, right? No matter what the pattern is, if you can fill frames and, you know, try to catch a double, especially the way the girls match is setting up, the first to double might be the winner of that match. They're both in very good position. And I really like the way Levi has kept his ball speed in check. And sometimes when you see two-handers, they like to throw it hard. Not Levi. I think he's understanding what the pattern is asking of him.
He was at 16.5 on lane 6. He lowered it there to 15.5, but he's able to knock down 3 in a row. Halfway home, Levi Gabriels.
Yeah, he takes a 31-pin lead right there, and you know what? That's just pressure. You know, he says, here, Jack, have some pressure.
Nice dose of it this morning. And instead of your coffee, have a little pressure.
Good morning, Jack.
All the bowlers this morning competing for scholarships.
That's beautiful.
Jack Steger found a line right there. How about that for a
Great
morning
shot.
cup of pressure?
Great shot.
Yeah, we're trying for that first double that Meal talked about.
Oh, that was a good ball for Ava over on lane 7 and just left that 10-pin.
Yeah, and when you're going straight down the lane with long oil and your bowling ball is about 15 pounds or less, you're going to leave a lot of 10 pins. So the girls on the right, they're not going to strike as much when they hit the pocket. It's just their ball's not rolling as much. But I tell you what they will do. They'll leave 10 pins and be happy about it. Big shot here for Jack.
It's been tough for him on lane 5, and some good pin action gives him a 9 count coming out of the strike. He'll take that.
Yeah, well, he knew that was a big shot. You know, he's 31 pins down. He's on a strike. This was a big one, but it seemed like he cut it off his hand pretty doggone good, and it just would not make it up the hill. That is indicative that lane 5 may be a little tighter down lane.
87% fill percentage on the season for Jack Steger, best on his Antigo team. Coming across the lane to get the spare, and he successfully does so. Mentioned the scholarships that the bowlers are competing for this morning, courtesy of the Wisconsin State USBC Association and Phil Laporte for the scholarships for the boys and girls singles finalists. First place today gets a $500 college scholarship from the USBC, $400 for second, incrementally down to $100 for the 5th place finisher here this morning.
Thank you to everyone who has contributed to the scholarship funds, certainly in the state of Wisconsin and across the country, for these great young players to set themselves up for their next part.
Oh, Lord.
And now my heart has been taken for the
Levi
first time today.
He was looking for 4 in a row, and he felt pretty good about it. So did I.
And that's why I retired.
Hashtag team no A-pin, as I like to say.
Man, he's going for what Rob Stone calls the hand bomb now. Hey, how about a stone 8 right there? That keeps Jack in the game, and, you know, that's bowling. God, dog.
Norm, I know you and Rob are tight. Do I need to worry about him coming up and taking our gig here from this Wisconsin State competition?
Well, I tell you what, Rob's one of the great guys in bowling, and in other sports, of course, y'all know.
Excellent on soccer, too, by the way.
Yes.
Is Rob.
Good spare for Levi Gabriel, so he's still in control as we head into frame 7 for the first step ladder.
RaeAnne just got a washout, did not complete the spare. She needs to pick it up right here. Oh, what a shot, too. There again, I can tell that ball is not 16 pounds, so you get a little more deflection. I'm not advocating 16 pounds for these girls, but I will tell you, you got to make up for it in purity to get those strikes. You can hit the pocket all day long and just get 9s.
Pick up, carry.
Levi Gabriels bounces back with a strike on 7. RaeAnne Kalsto of Kenosha Tremper as she's attempting this 7-pin spare on lane 7. I want to talk about over the qualifying, how significant everything is that you do even on splits and you just kind of take your 2. RaeAnne Kalsto qualified for this competition this morning 1 pin better than Kaylee Barrett of Marinette.
Oh.
1 pin with a total of 1,123 as opposed to 1,122 for Kaylee.
That's good.
Nice shot, Jack Steger, lane 6.
Yeah, he needs a lot of that because if we've seen Levi is locked in. I mean, if he makes a good shot, this ball is not light. It's not wiggling at all. It is high flush.
Ava
Nice
Butt with her
shot.
third strike of the match over on lane 8.
Very nice shot. And she's picked up, 17-pin lead. That's a lot of count right there. So, RaeAnne is going to have to put together at least a double or a turkey. That's at least. Here we are. Jackie's been light on this lane every shot of the day.
Might be the make or break shot for Jack Steger.
Oh, he slowed it down and tried to go around him a little bit, and you could see that ball wiggle down lane.
9 count on lane 5, and he's going to need some help to come back late.
Yeah, he is. And Ava just, I tell you what, that's a big shot right there. She gets a double.
First a double.
She's up 27 pins. She's got the hammer. That's pressure.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jesse.
Ava Budd mentioned that she had the best fill percentage in her district by 13% from the second best. She's also the best in the strike percentage in District 9 by 9% over the next highest striker. So a dominating year for Ava Butt in District 9.
Quick item for you, Norm. We talked about maybe lane 5 is a bit tighter, specifically for Jack. For the viewers watching at home, what are some of the ways that you and other individuals would try to combat that when you see it?
Right. One of the ways is just like Jack just tried to. We try to back our speed down. And typically when you back your speed down, you're going to get a little more hook. So you have to move left first, then back your speed down, and then hope that you've not over moved and hope that your speed is actually down. He looked like he did it fine. He just bled it a little bit too far to the right, and there's not enough traction on these lanes yet to get that ball back. Later on in the day, that ball is going to get back, but not right now. Oh, he did not like it. He did not like it. Now
He's
listen.
got a little breathing room, so I think he'll be okay if he can get the spare. But
Yeah, that was one shot that is, for me, always been hard. You're in the 8th frame, but if he strikes right there, that basically says, I'm in command. It's just a little more pressure knowing that, boy, this could be almost like a 10th frame shot. You can end it right here. Yeah, you make a little mistake, and now you're looking at the 3-6-10. Tough spare.
And when you're bowling on this Sunday morning at the state championships, even if your competitor is struggling a little bit, that that's one of the best bowlers in the state, and you don't want to give them any opening.
Yeah, and that's what he just gave him.
Yep. Chopped it on the right-hand side, leaves 2 pins out there for the first open frame. Levi Gabriels comes in frame number 8.
All right, good shot, RaeAnne.
Another spare for RaeAnne Kalsto of Kenosha Tremper.
We have Ava on the right lane here, on lane number 8. She's basically in the exact same situation that Levi was. If she strikes this ball, the pressure she just put on RaeAnne is immeasurable. So this is one of the tough shots she's going to throw this game.
First, it's Levi Gabriels on lane 5. Knocks them all down in the 9th frame. Ava Butt, critical shot on lane 8. She knocks them all down.
Just wow. She's a senior. She's been here before. You can tell that. She just laced that one.
Calm, too.
And that certainly puts some pressure on RaeAnne. She's going to have to strike out. I just feel that there's no way she's going to win this unless she gets the 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Starting to appear like our next matches in this stepladder final are just about set. Jack Steger going to be set to take home 5th place in this competition in the boys singles state championships.
Oh, as soon as you think that she just got enough, now she's looking at a 4-9. If she spares this, though, I know it's a tough spare. I know it is. But she can spare this, and if she does, it's just too much pressure right there. Too much pressure on RaeAnne if she gets this spare.
The smallest of openings for RaeAnne Kalsto still in this match. Jack Steger, solid spare on lane 6 in the 9th frame.
Well, she's not going to make the spare.
Take the 1.
Take the 1, though. I tell you what, when you're up, she's got a 5-pin count lead right there. So as long as she can stay above that count, even with an open, she's in the 190s.
And now back to your point, obviously, Norm, that RaeAnne will essentially need them all to have any chance to force Ava to at least mark in the 10th frame.
That's correct.
Max 203 for RaeAnne Kalsto on lane 8.
And same here for Jack. He has to get all of them to force Levi to mark.
Can he do it?
Good shot.
Got one.
It took a minute, but he got one in the 10th when he needed it on the left lane.
And you see the big
Oh, absolutely.
Jack as he came walking back there.
I mean, that's 9 frames worth of right there.
Meanwhile, RaeAnne Kalsto trying to do the same. Strike on lane 8.
Yeah, that was her best shot of the game right there. She got full hand on it. She got it right on top of her target line. Ball moved on the back end, and instead of leaving that weak 7 that she's been looking at on lane 7, she gets the 5 into the 7 for the strike. 2 more, she's still in it.
Jack wants a double for the pressure. He will not go quietly.
Norm, you've been in these situations. What are some of the keys for you when you need to double or throw 3 in the 10th to either win or force your opponent to show up in the 10th?
Yeah, you know, what I adapted, I guess, midway through my career is, look, post your score. Just post your score. And that's what he's trying to do. If he can post 190, there's nothing saying that, you know, Levi's going to get up on lane 6 and make a mark, even though he's been solid in the pocket every shot on there. He's feeling the pressure just like Jack is. So, you know, my motto is just post your score.
Oh, hook a little.
Oh, that is
8
huge.
count, got a good ball.
Oh, that could have been 6.
Yeah, because now, you know, with 8 and 1, or excuse me, yeah, 8 and 1, 9 miss, 7 and 2, all of them are tie.
Right.
193 for Jack Steger of Antigo.
Big shot here for Kalsto.
Looks good. Oh, that looked good to me.
Her strike to start the 10th frame wasn't the most appealing strike, but it was a strike, and we always said on our team back in the day, Norm, rule number 1, never complain about a strike.
Never.
Mark here.
Best kind of mark is a strike.
Levi Gabriel's to advance. Uh-oh. Now everyone's trying to crunch the numbers.
I think he just needs 1.
8 and 1 is a tie. No, what is that? Yeah, 8 and 1 is a tie.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the predicament. If he goes for the spare, then he puts 8-0 in play. That would lose. If he does not go for the spare and just goes for the 9 out, that guarantees him a tie but no victory. What do you do? Personally, I would aim at the last 3/4 of that 4-pin and make sure of it.
He's going to take. Oh, my goodness. He almost got it.
Oh, my gosh.
That's as close as it's going to get.
He almost got it. He also almost missed it. I mean,
wow.
Tie at
That
193.
Did exactly what you said.
Wow.
that last inch was everything. He could have missed. Both of them are spared it in a matter of centimeters. That get out. This is the first game we got at 8:30 in the morning. Here we go.
How about this for some drama out of the gates on Bull Stream TV and the state championships?
Well, we do know that on lane 8, Ava, she is going to advance.
Yep. So while we wait for the drama to settle for the boys' first step ladder here, Ava Butt will throw this one down the lane, and she picks up the spare. Ava Butt will advance in the step ladder. RaeAnne Kalsto takes 5th place in the competition, throwing a 189 from Kenosha Tremper. Ava Butt advances. She will face Madison Venne of Racine Case in match number 2. Now, last night in the boys co-ed team competition, we saw a tie in one of the semifinals between Watertown and DC Everest. So it went to a 2-frame roll-off in which Watertown won 50-49. About as close as you can get in a 2-frame roll-off. If they're tied after the 2-frame roll-off, it goes to a sudden death roll-off.
It will be a higher seed. We'll have lane choice as well, so keep that in mind.
So
and
that means Jack Steger gets his choice as the 4 seed. Even though he has had to battle his way back into this match, he gets his choice of the lane that he wants to throw.
Yeah, I'm not Jack. I don't know what he's thinking, but I would pick lane 6 based on, you know, just the game's involvement. He may like lane 5 better and just not be throwing it as good. I don't know. His last shot on lane 6 did miss the head pin, but that was a terrible shot. He'll admit to that.
It's just incredible to me, Norm, Emil, in all the years that we've been doing these high schools championships. This is my 9th year that I'm part of the broadcast. Plus, you know, I bowled in this thing a couple of years, too, back in the day.
Nice.
I've never seen a tie match in the state championships.
No way.
And now we saw one last night in the semifinals, and now we see one here in the Stepladder finals in the same 24-hour span. Unbelievable.
I tell you, in my experience, when there's a tie or a roll-off, they all come in bunches.
Well, here they are. Maybe this won't be the last one today.
All right, 9th and 10th frame roll-off. Jack Steger leads it off.
The junior from Antigo has battled back, and he's got a makeable spare, which is good. He's going to need Levi to spare also in the 9th frame in order to give himself a good chance there, but
It's always the one downside of bleachers.
had a little noise from the bleacher to our
Someone
right.
dropped something on the bleacher. It sounds like, you know, we've turned on rock and bowl. We've got Cosmic going on.
Yeah, 5 mothers can't watch. They're covering their face. I mean, yeah, dude. It's awesome. He's using a really big ball here for the spare.
It worked, though. Jack Steger marks in the 9th frame of the roll-off.
Now, Norm, you're someone who doesn't, you know, use plastic. You use whatever ball you're throwing at the particular time. Take your hand out of it.
Yes, sir.
As well. When did you pick that up?
Well, when you grow up using plastic balls for your first shot, there's no such thing as spare balls. So
Fair enough.
you figure out how to make them go straight. And I lasted long enough that I never needed a plastic ball to change it. So, yeah, that's one of the best things I've ever done, simply because I don't have to carry a spare ball everywhere I go. Here we go. Levi, lane 6, 9th frame.
Strike gives him the driver's seat. He likes it. It's an 8 count.
I thought he got that one right probably about 2-3 boards early. And that's when you start to see it labor a little bit. When Jack has missed, he's missed right. And the ball's kind of struggling to get back to the 1-3. Then you leave the bucket. You could leave a 2-pin combination. And this is no gimme of a spare, too. Easily choppable.
Oh, yeah, probably the most choppable 8-count spare on earth.
The 4-8.
It looks good, though.
He's got it. Right on. Both bowlers tied with a 193 through 10 frames. So they advance now to the 2-frame roll-off. And in the event of a tie again, arm wrestling, I'm told.
Okay.
We'll go to a single-frame roll-off the rest of the way.
Bocce ball, and then
Yeah.
Pickleball is
Papa
is
Shot is
hopping.
back in the arcade. I
Yeah.
think we go and
I'm in on Papa
becomes
Shot.
a bit of a decathlon.
No one's beating me in Papa Shot. I'm just throwing that out there right
Okay.
now.
All right, we got you.
I accept the challenge. Levi Gabriels accepts this challenge and leaves 2 pins on the right side of the lane again. So he's got to get the spare.
And that's what happens when on lane 6, his ball just labored down lane just enough to leave the 4-8. This time he helped it just a pinch. And I'm telling you, that wasn't a bad shot at all. He just gave the ball time to hook or roll up. Well, it hooked instead of rolling up, and now he's looking at the same 6-10 spare that Jack left.
Gotta have it. And he does. Freshman Levi Gabriels of Bayport. 83.8% fill percentage on the season, 7th best in District 8.
That's not bad when you're a two-hander either. When you
Not
can,
at all.
we can get fill percentage up there with the straighties. That's really good.
His teammate Connor Ness, also a freshman from Bayport, 2nd in the district this year with 87.5% fill.
How good are they going to be the next 3 years, huh?
Get used to the Bayport Pirates making an appearance at state.
Big shot here with count. He's technically 2 pins down.
Levi wants all 10. Got it.
Yep.
38
Yeah,
for
it
Levi
forces,
Gabriels.
That forces a 19 fill in the 10th.
It's interesting.
Anything less than 8 this shot, and he's gone. If he strikes, he advances. All of his teammates, his parents, they can't even walk. Look at him. They're so nervous.
Jack Steger advances with a strike, and a 10 is left.
Great shot.
That was a great shot right there. That was the haymaker, but now he's got to make the spare. Throw the same shot. You know, same shot. Yeah, I always move off a ring and 10. I always move. I'm not even so sure I would do it right there because that ball was so flush.
How much do you move?
It's always a little bit different.
Yep.
A lot of times it's 1 left, a little less speed. Sometimes it's 3, 5, 7, 9,
Sure.
11 left, and you just get incrementally more on it. Just depends on what you think the cause of that 10 pin was. Now, a spare here gives him a shot to win. Needs help. All right.
Jack Steger knocks down the 10 pin, and now 9 count advances him.
9 count is a tie.
Or correction, 9 count is a tie. Thank you, Norm. 9 count is a tie.
I mean, this is where bowling gets great, right?
This is it.
You lose with 8, you tie with 9, and you win with 10. I mean,
And it's all because Levi, even though he had those 8 counts on his first 2 balls, he hit all 10 in his final ball of the 10th frame of this roll-off. Every pin matters.
probably the biggest shot that Jack has ever thrown. Think he's not nervous? I'm here to tell you he is.
Nine to tie,
Got
10
it
to
off
win.
his hand really good.
Got 10. Jack Steger advances in the roll-off. That's how you start the state championship Sunday. Look at Jack. Oh, man, look at the crowd. His teammates for Antigo. The Red Robin's going to be rolling for a Division II boys team championship later today. What a start for Antigo and for Jack Steger. Wow. He battles back to win the roll-off, 39-38 over Levi Gabriels, and Jack Steger of Antigo advances to match number 2 of the Stepladder final.
I tell you what, those 2 shots in the 10th frame that he just made was just epic. And, you know, you feel for Levi. Levi bowled such a great game, left a solid 8 in between a turkey and a strike. That's a 21-pin, you know, I call it robbery. But that shot in the 8th frame when he left the 3-6-10, and then he only got 1 on the spare attempt, you know, that's
Wow.
what's going to take him down. And I'll tell you what, he is a freshman. He's coming back from this. There's no doubt. The experience that he got today will last him for a long, long time. And, you know, the worst part about it is you lose. But another thing is the best part about it is that you lose. And you have to be able to feel what is it to lose? What does it feel like? Because that's what motivates you to come back and do better, come back and be stronger when you need it.
Jack Steger, the junior from Antigo, moves on in the boys singles competition. He will now face senior Carter Wescott of Green Bay Preble, who was warming up, by the way, so just so everyone is aware here, because as you see on BowlstreamTV.com, we've got a good view of like lanes 1 through 12 or so, but all the way further down on lanes 19 and 20, the bowlers that are waiting in the wings are practicing down there while these matches are going on. So Carter was just rolling down on the other end of the center, so he comes over now, gets a couple of shots of practice, as does Madison Venne of Racine Case, the number 3 seed for the girls competition, who's had a little extra time to sit because they were waiting for that boys competition to wrap up semifinal or stepladder final number 1. So a couple of shots here for Madison Venne. Ava Button will be sitting for a long time now in between winning her first match and then moving on to this next stepladder final. So it'll be interesting to see how these bowlers are able to battle the elements here as they come over the waiting, the drama, and for Jack especially after rolling those high stakes final 2 frames. Then you got to bounce right back and bowl another 10 frames.
Right. it's so hard to bounce back to when you were jacked up as much as he was in the 10th frame, and then you come back and you start another game. Ava, I'm feeling for her right now because she finished first, so she waited on the 10th frame, then she waited on the boys to finish 10th frame, then she waited on the roll-offs and all of the commotion there. You know, on the PBA Tour, we would go to an alternate pair and make a shot or two. I haven't seen her throw a shot since.
Yeah.
To me, that's very difficult.
And that's just the way that this tournament is formatted, where the competitors that are coming in for the next step ladder, they'll get a couple of throws on each lane. The other bowlers do not, because they were just bowling on the set, and then we begin the competition. So say what you will about the format, but that's the way that it rolls here at the state championships. It's the same for the team competition later today also. So it'll be intriguing to see how these bowlers are able to cope with the different things that each individual is going to be up against as we get into the second step ladder finals. Madison Venne of Racine Case taking her warm-ups on lane 7. Averaged a 194 throughout the qualifying 6 games. Total pin count 1,165 between Friday in the qualifying and Saturday in the second round of the state singles competition. Carter Wescott, meanwhile, of Green Bay Preble, taking his warm-up on lane 5 and now on lane 6. He averaged a 225 over the 6 games of qualifying. He was in first place after the first 3 games of qualifying, had a 730 in his 3 games on Friday here at Dale's Weston Lanes in Wausau. Ends up with the number 3 seed in this competition. He'll have to win 3 matches here on this Sunday morning if he wants to go on and win a state singles competition. Jesse Nelson, Norm Duke, Emil Williams Jr. with you on BowlstreamTV.com. Drama already filling your Sunday morning here. One of our favorite days of the year, the High School Bowling State Championships for the state of Wisconsin. Norm Duke, you're here this weekend on behalf of Storm. Fantastic weekend with you getting to meet all these bowlers, and Storm gives you a great opportunity to be here and be with us here this morning.
Yes, they do. And you know what? They give me a lot of opportunity all around the bowling world. And, you know, I was at the military event. I was at the TAT. Where there are thousands of entries, and so I spend 4 or 5 days with all of those competitors, and you know, they just give me a chance to live with and through the competitors that many of them dream to be where I was. And so there's so many questions about how do I get there? What do I need to do to get there? And I'm happy to help them. I tell you what, I'm in a position that's unique and one that's so desirable. My family is in huge debt to Storm to be able to travel the world still as a non-bowler.
What's retirement been like for you, by the way, Norm? So you know,
second part of that.
You're not bowling on the tour, but you're traveling the world still. What have you been up to over the last few months here?
That's what I do. I travel around and I say hello and I give advice when they want it or need it. And you know what? I just try to make their experience, wherever I'm at, a better one. And you know, after 41 years of playing competitively, I haven't been under pressure. I felt it all leave me. Now it's all on them. So I live through these competitors now.
You probably just felt it watching Jack there.
I did. My hairs were standing up. I was nervous. I was watching. I was watching the family members because, you know, I have a family and I know what they go through, whether they're watching television or watching live. And I'll tell you what, they cannot do anything about it. They're just stuck in the back watching. And they want to throw it. They want to help in some way. And they're just helpless.
We're about to get started here for stepladder final number 2. But I want to talk to what you just said, Norm, about the family members, because last night being here in attendance for the semifinals for the teams around 9 p.m. last night, a long day, a long weekend for many of these bowlers, and then you're packing into these centers. And you can see with the bleachers here how deep the rows of people go. It's 6-7 people deep. They're standing on these stools back behind. They're up on like the arcade games. You had the teammates of some of the competitors up on the arcade games trying to watch the competition. The sacrifices that many of these family members and teammates, especially for the singles competition, make to be here supporting their team and supporting their loved ones. It's such a cool thing, and I don't know if the fans of high school bowling get enough recognition.
Well, I tell you what, they're into it. And even the teams that have no one coming in today for the finals, they're still here watching. You know, they desire to be here. They want to know what it takes, what these players did to get here that they may not have. And, you know, everyone here, thanks to the family members, they're here. I mean, if you don't have mom and dad getting you here, especially as a freshman, then, you know, you're stuck at home and you're watching this on Bowl Stream. So hats off to all of the moms and dads that see to it that their kids can follow their dreams.
And thanks to Dale's Weston Lanes for hosting this event. Always a great host. We're here just about every other year, it seems, and every time it's always a success. So thanks to Dale's Weston Lanes here in Wausau for hosting once again the Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships 25th annual competition here in 2023.
This is our first look here at Carter.
Carter Wescott hammers home a strike, 69% strike percentage on the year for Carter Wescott, best in District 8, which is the greater Green Bay area, by about 10% above the next highest bowler.
Yeah, it's about 4% higher than most of the pros making the telecasts on a PBA tour, so 69% is way up there.
And the first shot from Madison Venne of Racine Case over on lane number 8 leaves her a doozy here in the first frame.
Yeah, you know, it's up to her to shake off those nerves, get that first frame out. I tell you what, if she could find a way to make this 2-4-8-10, which is darn near impossible.
Tried to give it a run. She gets 2.
All right, well, if you're going to open, that's the frame to open in.
Always wanted in the first.
Yeah. Let's see how Carter gets by this left lane, which seems to be a little tight down lane in comparison.
Oh, he throws a fastball, but he gets it down. 17.8 miles per hour.
I was watching him in practice, and you can tell he's got a little extra oomph. I don't know what his rev rate is, but it's probably just a tick higher, whereas, you know, 2-pin leaves may have been possible, certainly on the left lane, and it still is on lane 5, but his extra rev rate, and I think the way he gets through it may allow him to do more of that.
I think so too, and he's using a little shinier ball, which is going to allow the ball to retain its energy and maybe come back a little bit like he did there on lane 5 and then bird dog that 10 as well. You know, and conversely here, Jack on the right lane, if he misses a little bit right, even though he's using a ball that seems to be surfaced up pretty good, if he misses right, he just doesn't have the hand to get it back. So, you know, after 2 frames, I got to say advantage Carter.
Hook a little. Oh, nice.
All right, nice
That's
shot
a
right
great
there.
spare for Madison Venne of Racine Case.
Yeah, that's something you won't want to see on beside your name when you first start out, is those red 6 and a red 7 on the scoring monitor indicating the split. Yeah.
You never want it to be particularly colorful, like Christmas lights up there.
Correct. All right, great shot at the 1-2-8 there.
And even though Jack Steger has not had the best first ball on either of these first 2 frames, he has marked, and that will keep him in the game.
It certainly has. That's a great shot right there.
Ava Butt bounces back with a strike on lane 8. She had a spare to open.
Yeah, but she waited darn near a whole game's worth just to get that 9 spare. I bet she was real happy just to get a ball under her, get her legs back.
Yeah, I wish I would have kept track how much of actual real time elapsed.
6, 7, 8 minutes easy.
Yeah, that's a great question. The roll-off itself was probably
Yeah,
at
I
least
made
3 to 5.
shorten it, yeah.
Jack Steger was in that roll-off, and now he throws a strike on lane 5. First strike of this stepladder final match for Jack Steger of Antigo.
Oh, Ava.
Strike on lane 7, Ava Butt of Wautoma. She's got a double heading into the 4th frame.
Very simple game. I mean, you hear that phrase a lot, and you know, you see simple games, you know there's just really A to B to C. They start to the finish, you know, balls on line, target, and she's been hitting the 1-3. I mean, maybe 1 split today for Ava so far through now, what, 13 frames?
Madison Venne has found a line over on lane 8 after a couple of tough frames. She comes back with a strike.
Yeah, similar games here with Madison and Ava on 7 and 8. They're down and in, both of them. I think it's just who's got their legs under them, who can make the shots early, and maybe even build a lead. And that's what Ava looks to have done already. She's up by 22.
Go.
Wow.
That was a good ball for Carter Wescott. Right in the pocket, left the ringing 10.
He was asking for it to lay off. That was his motion with his arms because he missed in. He missed left. But because the pattern is long, right, there's so much oil down lane, he wasn't expecting that, and that's probably the best wrap 10 you can leave today.
Yeah, and when you're asking a ball to lay there, if it does, now the only thing that you can do is it overlay, and then you leave a 10 pin. But every shot you throw in bowling changes the lane. Every shot you throw will change the way in which your ball responds on that lane. And so sometimes you make a little mistake and you think, well, I need it to hold. Well, it overheld. Uh-oh.
That's an open frame for Carter, missing the 10 pin. He did throw that first ball 18.2 miles per hour. That's even faster than the last one he threw over on lane 5. So he's firing him in there. But an open frame gives Jack Steger a chance to capitalize here heading into the 4th frame of the boys match. Open frame for Madison Venne of Racine Case on lane 7. She's now gone open, spare, strike, open through 4 frames. Carter Wescott, Green Bay, Preble. Hammers home a strike on lane 5.
Nice bounce back, nice recovery by Carter. You know, obviously you don't want to miss any makeables, certainly single pins, but he did what he had to do right there. Realized the mistake. You got to brush it off just like a closer, have that closer mentality, step up and make a good shot.
87% fill percentage on the season for Carter Wescott. That's 3rd best in District 8. Parker Thill of Marinette, Connor Ness of Bayport, the only two with a better fill percentage on the season in that district. Jack Steger. 2 in a row. And that's the significance of those marks in frames 1 and 2. He's able to come away with spares to keep himself in the competition. Carter opens with missing that 10 pin in the 3rd frame. Suddenly Jack has a double. Heading into the 5th frame, he's feeling pretty good about where he stands.
Man, it makes so much sense. I mean, and for Jack, right, the momentum really is a thing. And so he just went through the gauntlet in game 1, and you know he's feeling good. He's still pumped up. He allows the first 2 frames to kind of roll on by, makes the spares, and then throws 2 really good shots
To take the lead.
Now can he add to it?
Perfect.
Sure can. Gobble, gobble. Jack Steger. Ava Butt leaves a single pin for the 2nd consecutive frame.
Yeah, she got that late 4 pin out there. She's really happy just to leave the 9 pin, especially in her predicament here. She's got to a 34 pin lead already. So the last thing she wants to do is look at a 4-9. A 9 spare for her right now is just fine. Carter, last time on this lane, he got it in. Ball just failed to roll at all, left a ring in 10, and then he missed it. It's time for a little.
Yeah, he found it.
Reprieve right there on lane 6.
Comes back fairly emphatic following that throw. Felt
Yeah.
pretty good about that one.
And you can see how that 6 pin did tremendous damage on that 10 pin, that shot. That's just because the ball's rolling through the pins. When the ball's rolling through the pins, it deflects less. Less deflection means you're going to catch less of the 3 pin. That pin's going to catch more of the 6, and then it'll do damage on the 10. But if that ball is not driving that deflection, that's what caused that 10 pin.
Big frames here for both of the bowlers in green. Madison Venne on 8. Wow. Carter Wescott on 5, knocks them all down.
Now Madison's still trying to regroup here. She just hasn't had her best yet. Early in the match, though, I mean, she could just go up there and throw a 4 or 5 bagger and turn things around, but she's going to have to make a shot at this spare. This is a washout. She's got to hit the left side of the head pin, hope that it either hits the wall in the 10 or right into the 10, not go around it. But this is big for her at this point. Otherwise, the game's going to get insurmountable.
Can she get it?
Good shot. Good.
Gave it a run, but leaves the 10 pin. That's the third open frame through 5 for Madison Venne. Jack Steger on 6. Directing the ball, he knew he threw it a little inside and came up just a little bit high. He was fortunate to leave only a single pin.
I think so too, yeah. He knew it was going to be a little bit high, and he's begging for a trip 4. Hey, we got a 1-pin match here on this lanes 5 and 6.
Pretty impressed with Jack, too, to be able to stay in the same ball, right? He's just made minor moves on the lanes. Maybe it's a little bit of hand position, but certainly changing his angle just enough to get some carry, especially on lane 5.
What a shot. Good shot.
It's a good shot, maybe their best shot of the match so far for Madison.
Jack gets the spare on 6. I tell you what, we thought it was going to be a District 3A party and an exposition for RaeAnne Kalsto of Kenosha Tremper, Madison Venne of Racine Case, Ashlee Murawski's the 2 seed waiting next from Kenosha Indian Trail. All these bowlers so familiar with one another, but Ava Butt from Wautoma says, I got something to say about that. She's trying to run her way through this step ladder as Madison Venne completes the spare. Seventh frame for the boys. Steger, all 10.
Solid shot right there.
Frame 6 for Ava Butt. Left the 10.
Wow, you see those two shots, right? Jack gets the 6 pin to hit the sidewall and just clip enough of the 10 for it to fall. Ava, the 6 pin, hits the sidewall, then kind of labors the opposite direction, missing the 10 pin.
Yeah, it's exactly the same hit, but you're talking about more speed, more rev rate in lane 5. Probably a less ball weight, less speed, less rev rate, and that is why she'll shoot her spare.
Carter Wescott looking for 4 in a row. Yes, sir. He's feeling it now.
Shoot, I'm feeling it. Just watching him throw. You see that ball rev? I tell you what, if you can notice this ball rev, if people say, well, I have a 480 or a 500 rev rate or whatever, Belmonte, I don't even know what his is. It's so much. But if you watch how quick this ball is spinning, this is not easy. I've done this for a living for 41 years, and I've never thrown one ball that spun that quickly, much less. Oh, gosh. Athleticism of these athletes is great. That takes the lead there as well by 11 pins. Now watch this ball spin here on lane 5.
Could hear a pin drop as Wescott delivers. 5 strikes in a row. Carter Wescott, the senior from Green Bay Preble.
Ooh, great break there for Ava.
Avoids the split.
Yeah, you don't want to give Madison any opportunity there, especially when your opponent's down and they're still trying to figure it out. If they see you leave a split, then all of a sudden
it lifts them.
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
You said it before. Momentum in this game is huge. I really feel like Jack needs to strike here to stay in this match because Carter is lined up, and that is absolutely pure. Oh, he loved it. I loved it.
That was a great shot.
Yeah, that one hurts.
Look very similar to plenty of the shots he's already thrown through 1 and now 3/4 matches as Ava takes care of the spare.
Ava Butt clean through 7 frames. And right now that's getting the job done in this stepladder final match number 2.
That's been her MO since she started today. It's 8:30 in the morning. She's just filling frames.
Jack Steger clean through 7, make it clean through 8 as he picks up the 10 pin. Meanwhile, Madison Venne with a 9 count on lane 8.
Quick reminder of what the players are bowling on here. The Kegel Element Challenge Titanium, 44-foot lane condition with 25.25 mils. You see the graph, you see the shape. And so when you see the players, the righties, we've only had righties so far. When they've missed right, you can see not a lot of room for error when you miss right. So you've got to be kind of near the track area, following the pattern front to back down lane.
Yeah, as some of the pros say, keep it in front of you. Yeah, same shot, both lanes, 5 and 6. He just blower 10, blower 10. He kind of got a little break on in the 7th frame on that wiggler 10 pin, but the next 2, no.
And now a little bit of a different situation, not by much in the first match, but because Carter now was 7 out of 8, you know, he's certainly now completely in the driver's seat. But Jack makes the spare. We saw what happened, obviously, in the first match, so this one's still not over.
Just keep doing what you can and make Carter earn it.
Very
Madison
nice.
Venne, best ball of the match. She hammers home a strike on
One
lane
time
7.
she gets to take a deep breath now. Bless her heart. Yeah, good shots there.
Jack Steger of the Antigo Red Robins, who will be competing for a Division II Boys Co-Ed Team Championship later today on Bullstream TV here at Dale's Weston Lanes.
Yeah, I think that right there will be enough to win that match.
But couldn't quite get the helicopter to come in and take it out.
Now here's the situation on the boys. 225 is the max score for Jack. That's if he was to double in the 10th. Carter going at a 237 pace. If he can get 2 marks, he's the winner. A strike here, he's the winner. Oh, we got it right.
Fortunate to get a 9 count out of it.
Oh, very fortunate.
I was about to say, if he leaves an open frame here, that is the opening that Jack Steger would need, just like we saw in the first of the Stepladder finals.
That's right. It's hard to make a mark. It's harder to make a mark when you need a mark than it is, you know, when you need a strike.
Huge spare for Carter Wescott.
People ask me all the time, what do I do if I just need a mark? You know, do I move a half a board or a board? Do I try to throw it a little bit harder? Do I protect anything? Heck no. The best part of a mark is a strike. You don't have to throw it twice.
Carter Wescott delivers on the single pin spare. Ava Butt leaves a 10 pin in the 9th frame.
Yeah, she's still, you know, filling frames. That's what she does.
As long as she can stay clean, she's going to be just fine.
Yeah, you get the early double and you fill frames. I mean, you're always over 200.
Now, if she misses this one, Madison does have that strike in the 8th frame. I wonder if she'd be able to mount the comeback here.
It would be possible.
Yes, definitely possible.
Carter Wescott, chance to advance.
Oh.
Goes Brooklyn and still gets 9.
Okay,
Ava
those
Butt.
were
Still clean.
Those were the worst 2 shots of his game. Right now, the first 8 were really good, and then he sails one wide in the 9th frame, and he pulls one eye in the 10th. That's what pressure will do to you. The good news is he's 9 spare in the 9th, and he's got a chance here to end it. This is probably one of the easiest spares that you can leave in bowling for a victory if you need a mark.
Carter Wescott hits it. He advances. Madison Venne on lane 8.
She's got to have it.
Got all
She
10.
does. Here we go. .192 is Madison's max score. Well, Ava's at a 203 pace, but if you post 192, you force a mark in the 10th. Even though Ava has just spared R-struck on every frame of the game, it makes it so much more difficult.
Ava's been clean. Madison has 3 opens, and that's the difference.
Yeah, stay behind the line here on lane 5. Then Carter will advance.
It's funny you say that, Norm. My final shot of my singles career was a foul in this singles competition. Last shot I ever took as a singles competitor.
Brooklyn here on 7. Oh, my goodness.
235 for Carter Wescott. And
so Carter and Ava will advance. Madison definitely had to double in the 10th there to keep her hopes alive. Here's Jack. He gets to, throw a whole 10th frame. And I tell you what, this was a solid game by him. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
You shoot 220, 9 o'clock in the morning, high school championships. I'm telling you, that's not a bad score.
That morning part is kind of underrated.
Yeah.
But when you think about obviously what you just said, it's in the match obviously to open up, right, just to get to this point, and he still might put up 220, and essentially just lost to a couple more strikes. Ultimately, was the difference.
There's so much to be proud of too.
He will always have the moment of celebration winning that roll off. I'm sure he'll never forget that feeling.
I'm sure he's gonna come on back after this is done and watch this back on Boldstream TV and relive that match. I might even clip it out and post it again because it was just that good.
Madison Venne, final shot of the competition. 8 count for a 168 total. 4th place finish for Madison Venne of Racine Case, the junior. She'll have a chance to get back here next year. As will Jack Steger, who finishes with a 223 hard-fought match on lanes 5 and 6. Jack Steger will be back later today with his Antigo team trying to win a team competition. So the day's not done for Jack Steger. Meanwhile, Carter Wescott does advance from Green Bay Preble. He will play in the penultimate stepladder final for the boys singles competition against Logan Weigel of Sheboygan South. Ava Butt, formal finish over here on lane 8. Ava Butt defeated RaeAnne Kalsto in the first of the stepladder final. Now she defeats Madison Venne. And she advances to face Ashlee Murawski of Kenosha Indian Trail. Halfway home on Boldstream TV in the state singles championship here this morning from Dale's Weston Lanes.
Well, you'd love to if Madison could have like the first couple frames back, and trying to get loose, and obviously you're going on to a pair. One match has already been bowled on it, so maybe a frame or two to kind of figure things out. But Ava, who's been solid so far here throughout, didn't really give her an opportunity to get comfortable early, and that's what you want to do, obviously.
Yeah, when you're looking at an early double by your opponent and you're looking at, red circles in the first 2 frames. Yeah, I mean, that is why the lead has won less than 50% of the time in all of the PBA Tours competition. The number 1 bowler, less than 50%. They should have an advantage. I mean, in some cases they led the tournament by 300 or 400 or 500 pins. It's just the first 2 or 3 frames. You got to get comfortable. And the person who wins the semifinal match seems to already have their legs. They know what's going on the lanes, and it's a little less difficult for them to perform early.
Ava Butt clean throughout that entire game as she advances to face Ashlee Murawski of Kenosha Indian Trail. Meanwhile, for the boys' side, Carter Wescott, the 3 seed, advances to face the 2 seed Logan Weigel of Sheboygan South. Jesse Nelson, Emil Williams Jr., and special guest Norm Duke with you this morning.
One of the GOATs.
Boldstream TV, absolutely one of the GOATs. Norm, thanks again so much for stopping by the broadcast booth this morning. It's been incredible to hear your insight, and looking forward to still seeing you here throughout the course of these next 2 matches. But let's talk a little bit about the evolution of bowling. You mentioned that during the last match as you saw Carter Wescott delivering on such a high rev rate and how it's changed from when you first broke into the sport. What is the single thing, and I'm sure there's 100, but what's the single thing that you think is the biggest evolution that you've seen in the sport of bowling over your time?
The lane machine. The lane machine is the biggest evolution, and then the playing field. I mean, we used to bowl on wood lanes. Now we're bowling on plastics. The lane machine dresses all the lanes identical, so that takes the oil let's say, discrepancies out of play.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. People ask me all the time, they say, well, why didn't y'all have rev rate? Well, we did. We absolutely did.
You did.
But it was
different.
It was counterproductive because if you could not hit what you were looking at, you lost. Period. Because it was all about accuracy. We didn't have the bowling balls that will give you those blower tins. We did not have the pins that are easier nowadays that would trip 2 pins forward. We suffered every time we didn't pure it. So therefore, back in the day, let's say 1989, I think Amleto Monticelli led the average on all the PBA Tour with 213, ladies and gentlemen. Now it takes about 228, 229 to get there. Is it because they're that much better? Well, it's the playing field that has changed. So the evolution of bowling, people say, well, it's their ability to get rev rate. Well, no, we had that ability. In fact, that's why we had Mark Roth. That's why we had Bob Hanley. But if you could not spare, your strike percentage was so much lower back then that it didn't matter how much rev rate you had. It didn't matter how many boards you open it up. It was about trying to fill frames back then. And nowadays, it's all about rev rate because you got room to the pocket. You got pins that are easier to knock down. You got bowling balls it's easier to knock them down with. And look, this evolution is not bad. It's different. That's all. But if you take us to a U.S. Open condition, you're going to find a whole lot less two-handers in the top fives. Now, you're not going to find a U.S. Open that doesn't have any. I mean, i.e. Simonson, Belmonte, Troop. These guys are so good it's crazy, right? But it just wasn't possible pre-1990 to excel with a two-handed delivery. And people say, well, when did that evolve, Jesse? Well, I threw it with two hands when I grew up. I was only 5 years old when I picked up my first ball, so I threw it with two hands.
We've all done it at some point, right?
Exactly. So the reason I got to one hand is because we couldn't wait to get to one hand so we could get accuracy. Accuracy was the name of the game back then.
I think that's been such an incredible evolution over the last 10 to 15 years, the two-handed bowling, and that really started just as I wrapped up my high school career. And then the first couple of times that I got back on the call here on Bullstream TV for some of those championships in 2015, 2016, and you saw one or two bowlers do it. And you're like, oh, here it comes. And then suddenly a few years later, it's like half the players on the team are doing it. So it's just been incredible to see how that's evolved over the years.
Yeah, and so the more difficult thing is to say, where are we going? And I believe that we're going to go closer to where we were. Because when you get bowling balls that are this strong, pins that are this easy to knock down, and lane conditions that have patterns that actually give from the go a room for error, then 300's the max, right? And so 1281 for 6 games right here. 1442 for 6 games for Braden and Mallasch. Well, there's not much more you can do but average 250 or 260. Eventually, you're going to have to start making the lanes a little tougher to separate the field. I think that's where we're going to go in the future. So we're still going to have the power game, no doubt about it. And it's going to be prominent for the rest of the bowling. But we are going to, I think, go to more challenging lane conditions over time. If you listen to the juniors, that's what they want. They demand it where I live. They just say, no, we don't want help. We want chess, not checkers. And if you're the United States Bowling Congress and you're listening to me right now, we want chess.
No, you're 100% right about that. Every youth player that I see, and I call a lot of youth bowling, I work on a couple of different youth tours, they want to be challenged all the time. Like it's a rarity when they see a house shot in a tournament situation. So, which is why obviously we've got sport conditions here at this event throughout the week. And so, to be better, you've got to be challenged and accept the challenge. And we're seeing those challenges being accepted here this morning.
Yeah, demanded, as a matter of fact. These kids demand it. And that's what I love about it. I think bowling is in such great hands because the youth says, I don't want a gimme.
Right.
Please don't give me a gimme. I worked hard to get here, and I want you to know what my hard work is doing for me. And if everybody in the field averages 290, and I'm exaggerating, but where is it going to go? Eventually, you probably will get to that, right? So I think eventually they'll start having to make the lanes even tougher and tougher and tougher, and I think that is healthy for all of us. We're going to get a look at our first left-hander in the field.
Yep, Logan Weigel. I didn't see very many non-strikes during his couple practice shots. So,
and again, as a reminder, these bowlers were warming up on the far end of the alley here at Dale's Weston Lanes on lanes 19 and 20, a few lanes down from what you can see here on Bullstream TV. But Logan Weigel of Sheboygan South enters the competition for the boys. 41% strike percentage on the season. State qualifying total 1,376 over the 6 games. That is good for a 229 average. Only Braden Mallasch of Waupaca, who is the #1 overall seed, was better with a 240 average, just to show you where Braden was at over the 6 games the last 2 days. Meanwhile, for the girls, we welcome in Ashlee Murawski of Kenosha Indian Trail. She threw a 203 average over the 6 games of qualifying, 1,217 pins knocked down for Ashlee over the course of the 6 games of qualifying, 3 on Friday and 3 last night after the team competition qualifying rounds were complete here at Dale's Weston Lanes. Practice is done, the penultimate Stepladder finals.
real quick, Norm, before we begin, one question from the chat. Are you still were you still throwing 16 pounds when you were still bowling?
Yes. Yes. I would have thrown a Volkswagen bus if they'd have let me. It just made more sense to me. He who's got the biggest paddle wins. Yeah.
First shot belongs to Carter Wescott, picking up right where he left off. The senior from Green Bay Preble hammers a strike. Ava Butt, bowling in her 3rd match of the Stepladder final, leaves a 10-pin on her first shot.
Yeah, Ava leaves a 10-pin, but I bet she makes it.
She was
I
clean
know, it's
all last
9:30.
game.
It's 9:30, okay?
That was good.
That's pretty good.
well done, Norm Duke.
All right, a first look at Logan Weigel.
Left-handed bowler finds the pocket, hits all 10.
He's going to be tough to beat. And, you know, again,
Oh, I
said,
lost that bet, Ava.
10-pin left.
well, Norm, welcome to the Black Cloud. You know when you're in any part of any booth, you know it's possible.
I know.
You did.
Randy tells me all the time. He said, Norm, you just need to stop talking. You're killing these people.
Strikes in the first frame for both of the boys here. Logan Weigel looking for a double, leaves the 7-pin. And so we'll see his first opportunity to go across the lane and pick up the spare. The score says that's an 8. Is there a pin over there I'm not seeing?
No, it would be. That one's
No.
just wrong, but it's
Okay.
not going to. Well, it could if he misses it. I'll just say if he makes the spare, it won't affect his total overall.
That's right, so we'll see if that.
No.
Oh, no.
Well, here we got nerves going on.
And now we'll need to change the score.
Yeah, so correction coming in from our BCAW crew here.
Yeah, this is the washout with the kicker, we call it on tour.
Couple ways
Now-
to make it.
Yeah, most of us will throw a backup ball from the left side and aim at the pocket side. And that's why, because we want the deflection so that we can get part of that 6-pin. I'd throw about a 2 or 3 point board cutter from 3rd or 4th arrow on the left side of the lane and try to get a little deflection.
So the bad news for the girls here in this match, Ashlee Murawski and Ava Butt, they both opened the first frame. The good news is, for each of them, their competitor also opened the first frame. So a 1-pin difference heading into frame number 2. Ashlee Murawski. 9 count.
She hooks it a little bit more than the previous 2 players, including Ava, and kind of coming off the gutter a little bit. I'm curious if we'll see her kind of inch left ever so slightly.
Good call. Good call. I think that's exactly what she needs to do. I think that the laydown area for her is a little too treacherous. And why am I saying that? Well, when that ball hits the lane, if it's not a full puddle of oil there, then it will check up and cost the ball a little bit of energy. It will also prevent it from retaining that energy and moving into the pins. And sometimes, like this shot, when it hits the floor, it moves off pocket immediately, and you don't even see that. Uh-oh. Okay.
Hangs on for the spare for Ashlee Murawski.
It's one of the worst things for us as pros is when we throw a decent shot and it's left of target, we think, well, is that me? Or did it hook before my eyes picked it up? You have to feel those kind of things. Trouble. Okay.
Carter Wescott missed a 10-pin in his previous match. He knocks it down here for the spare. Now he has the advantage after Logan Weigel's open in the second frame. Ava Butt knocks all 10 down in the second frame, and now everybody's getting on board here as we head into frame 3.
Yeah, like you said, Emil, Ava is a couple of 3 boards left on the lane. Then we see Ashlee, so therefore her ball will lay down a little easier. Now the whole thing is, will it pick up when she gets it down her target line or to the right of it? So far, it hasn't been so bad. At least she's been able to get 9s and eliminate splits.
Carter Wescott, lane 5. Good ball, left to 10. I noticed on lane 6, it looked like he moved outside just a little bit. I don't know if he's right where he wants to be on each of these lanes right now, or if he's still trying to figure a couple of things out.
I'm betting that he's probably got the 2 lanes playing somewhat differently. You know, even going back to the matches we saw with Jack and Levi, for example, you know, one lane, left lane seemed to be a little bit tighter. So, and typically, you know, you never have 2 lanes the same.
Correct, and oftentimes you're playing the slicker lane to hook. You're hooking it more on the slicker lane, but you're throwing it different. In order to get angle on a tighter back end, sometimes you slow it down and try to use what little shape you have in the middle part of the lane to get the ball to turn.
Spares for Carter Wescott and Ava Butt. Ava of the Wautoma Hornets, the senior, has run the gauntlet so far here in the stepladder final, defeating RaeAnne Kalsto of Kenosha Tremper in match number 1 and Madison Venne of Racine Case in match number 2. If you're just joining us on Bullstream TV, on the boys' side, Jack Steger defeated Levi Gabriels of Bayport in the first match, which went to a 2-frame roll-off. And then Carter Wescott defeated Jack Steger of Antigo in our last match to get Carter Wescott, the 3 seed, in now against Logan Weigel, the 2 seed, who just hit the strike on lane 6. Ashlee Murawski, first strike of the competition.
Yeah, you can see she's trying to help that ball get a little bit of hook, just so it'll hit the pins harder, but it's moving early. She's going to have to move her feet left. I mean, we know when she lets it go, it doesn't get up. That's why she left the Major League washout, and then as soon as she gets full hand in it, it went Brooklyn. So she has a 2-way miss right now. I suggest that she move her feet about 4 or 5 boards to the left and then soften her speed up and take advantage of that oil in the inside of the lane.
Logan Weigel left the 7-pin on his first shot on lane 5, and here he's got a couple of pins he's going to have to find. And also there seems to be something going on with maybe a sensor or something on the lane, because that says he has a 7 count.
You are correct there.
He actually does have 8 pins knocked down, so.
E27.
Can he get it? Only 1.
This left lane being troublesome for young Logan, and unfortunately missing a couple of spares on that lane too. I thought he's got a little bit of miss room to work with too. If he misses left, you know, his miss left in the second was just a wrap 7-pin. And now we got some missed opportunities here on both matches early.
Well, I have not seen this coming. You know, we have 3 9 misses. These are the athletes that you mentioned that had the biggest fill percentage rate, and we're watching 9 miss, 9 miss, 9 miss.
Yeah. Ashlee Murawski of Kenosha Indian Trail as Ava Butt hammers home a strike on lane 8. Ashlee Murawski on the season, 89.5% fill percentage, second best in that District 3A down on the Kenosha and Racine
You wouldn't
area.
see her missing an 8-pin then at an 89% clip, fill frame clip. It's just nerves. I think the same thing with Logan. You know, he's failed mark either time on the left lane. Well, first one was a decent shot with a ring 7. And he just made such a poor shot at that spare.
Carter Wescott trying to take advantage. That one came up well high and leaves 3 on the right-hand side.
369 was almost a 369-10, but either spare is tough to make.
And Ava stuck it in the middle of the lane. She's fortunate to have an 8 count with 2 on the right-hand side, makeable.
All right, people ask all the time, Mill, Jesse, what is transition? What it is right now, transition, right now. Why? Well, because if they set the ball just a little bit short, it's going to go quickly. If they get full hand and kind of feed it to where they're looking, it'll overhook, especially in the case of Carter, who has all the rev rate. That ball, I could see it. It was down his target line. It got into the drier part. I say drier. It's not that dry, but a little drier part of the lane, and then it overhooked. So he's now going to have to move left. What is transition? That is the mandatory. You have to move. You have to move to keep up with it. If you don't, you're going to be experiencing the downside of transition before you move. The pros, they move in front of this.
Always trying to stay ahead.
They always try to stay ahead, and they know. They just feel it. I say we feel it.
That's right, man. You're still we. You're still in there.
I'm calling in my scores now. Is that what it is? I phone them in. Hey, I had a good day.
World traveling, wherever you happen to be, just call up. Hey, 238 for me today.
That may not get there.
Yeah, you're right.
Carter Wescott with a strike on 5. Both of the bowlers, by the way, while Norm was providing that explanation, picked up clutch spares. Ava Button, Carter Wescott, and now Ashlee Murawski, single pin spare over on lane 8. Coming out of the open frame, needs this one.
And then when you're talking about Norm's point on transition, especially right in the boys match, there's been a lot of ball being thrown early, right? Both Levi and Jack were throwing some high-end stuff with some surface.
With surface, yes.
A lot of strong balls, certainly removing oil, all playing in the same part of the lane because of the 44-foot lane condition. And then in the women's match, in the girls' match, all with similar laydown points on the right side of the lane, kind of near the gutters. So you're starting to see balls pick up even before the arrows in some cases.
That's Ashlee's issue. I think her ball is moving before her eyes pick it up. So she thinks she's missing quite a bit to the left. I don't think she's missing as much as she thinks. If I were her coach, I'd be moving her in. Not terribly. I mean, not to third or fourth arrow, just 2 or 3 or 4 boards inside.
Ashlee Murawski having a tough time.
Yeah, she's looking back at her coach. So if he's got some good,
Logan Weigel didn't have to hit it hard, just had to hit it, and he did.
That's why you throw plastic balls, right? But Ashlee's coach is back here. If he directs her in the right direction, and she listens and picks up on it, maybe she can get lined up and make a charge here late in the game.
It's not the easiest spare to pick up, and she's able to do so successfully there. It's a big shot for Ashlee Murawski in the 6th frame.
Still in the match, though. You know, only
Very
talking
much
about a 16-pin match right there.
Yep.
With Ava Butt stepping up in the 6th frame. Logan Weigel over on lane 5 in the 6th frame with a big strike.
Logan's ball speed will just allow him to get away with the miss. That one was perfect, but if he leaks one left, I don't think he's going to be in big trouble just because of his ball speed, which should allow him to maybe still get to the 1-3 or the 1-2 in this case, as opposed to, if his ball speed was maybe 1.5 miles per hour higher.
Exactly. That's what happened in the 2nd frame on that left lane. Is he got it a little bit to the left. It did pick up. It did make a move. It just didn't move far enough so that he was not able to kick that 7-pin out.
Logan's first mark on lane 5 in this match. He opened the first 2 frames there. Carter Wescott on lane 6 in frame 6. Hammers home a strike. That's 2 in a row for Carter Wescott. This is where he got hot in the last match. Ava Butt knocks down the spare on lane 8.
When Carter's ball hits the pins, he is throwing no doubters.
No doubt, yes.
No pin left behind. Man. Yeah. I see why you decided to hang it up for a little bit.
No, I retired because of this right here. That's exactly right. Let's just make no mistake. My little 320 rev rate, yeah, she gone.
talked about Ava Butt throwing the clean game in the last stepladder final. Here, outside of that first frame where she missed the single pin spare, she is clean through frames 2 through 6 as she enters frame 7. Carter Wescott, chance to get in the driver's seat. Knocks them all down, 3 in a row for Carter Wescott.
Is that your no-doubter there? That's to go up by 40. And that was a no-doubter, by the way. Goodness gracious.
Ava Butt, another single pin spare opportunity, 10 pin on lane 7.
A little bit of a different feel in the girls' match, but the one consistent has been Ava Butt, right? I mean, she just continues to put the ball near the pocket, leave makeable spare. She did miss one, but I think that's her first miss makeable of the day, and it happened in this first frame.
And she was waiting, remember? She had to wait.
Right.
Not quite as long as the first game, but a little bit.
Here again, she knocks down the single pin spare. I've always said when we do these competitions, these broadcasts on this championship Sunday, spares don't win you the competition, but they can lose you the competition if you're missing them. You need the strikes to be able to win the thing and go out and get it, but you miss those single pin spares, that's the difference a lot of times, especially as we see this singles competition in this stepladder final.
Yeah, if you don't strike, I mean, your max is 190. 190 is not going to get you past most of these matches, so you definitely have to strike. But if you don't fill frames, then you're gifting matches to your opponent. Nobody likes to look themselves in the mirror after it's over and know that you gifted it.
Ashlee Murawski trying
That's
to
better.
fight back.
Yeah,
Came
but
up a
that
little
ball,
high.
It ball is just right into the track area from the women that were there, or the girls that were there earlier, and it's overhooking.
Logan Weigel looking for 3 in a row. Ah, it was a good ball and just left that 7 or the 8 pin.
And that's you hate to see that too. Obviously, if you're Logan, because you know that Carter, you have to assume that Carter will not stop striking, and
You
so
have to assume that, yes.
to keep up, you've got to continue to do what you've been doing. And he threw 3 really good shots in a row across both lanes.
And when you gift some spares early, which you know, one of them was a light split. He had the 2-7 in the
2-7.
fourth, but when you gift those spares early, you have to strike when you throw shots like that.
That is a tough break for Ashlee Murawski on lane 8.
Yeah, she goes down by 27, all at once, just like wham.
And similar situation to first to double here, but right now it just might be coming down to what you just talked about, Jesse. We just literally talked about the spare situation, and it's probably going to come down to that exactly.
Ashlee Murawski has an 89.5% fill percentage on the year with 3 open frames here. Carter Wescott, 4 in a row. Both matches that we've seen Carter Wescott, he figures it out in those first couple of frames, and then he goes on a run on the back half of the match.
Now remember, this is a 44-foot pattern, and he's starting to make it look a little shorter than what it really is because the action and the shape he's creating on the back end of the pattern. Good shot there by Ashlee, too. That's one you'd love to have go down. You're trying to hang around in this match, and now she's looking at, if she makes the spare, a max of 180.
9 and a wiggle. And the crowd cheering her on behind her, just exasperated. Can't catch a break in this particular game.
Yeah, for Carter in the third frame, when he made that shot on lane 6 that overhooked in the track area, it was a great shot, I thought. That's one of the best things he could see. Now he knows he can bump to the left and use that overhook as now the strength into the pocket.
Good ball left the 7 pin. So that stops the streak at 4 strikes in a row for Carter Wescott, but a chance to mark in the 9th frame.
All right, that spare keeps Ashlee in it.
She's going to need a break from Ava Butt to have an open frame.
Yeah, 180 is her max. Ava is at a 187 pace. So either in count or in failure to fill frames, she's got to have help from Ava.
And again, consistent all match. Lane 5 has what appears to be one of the pin sensors not working properly, so it says 8 count on the score, but that wasn't 9, and that's the spare pickup for Carter Wescott of Green Bay Preble. Ava Butt, lane 8. Good ball
in the pocket, leaves the 10-pin again.
That was a good shot. That was a good shot. But she's in control of the match. If she can spare this 10-pin, you know, when time's a wasting, if you're the lead, that's when you want time to be wasted. All right, here we go. Logan on the right lane.
Needs it on lane 6. Right in the pocket. That's a big strike for Logan Weigel of Sheboygan South. Ava Butt just stays on the lane to pick up that spare.
Yeah, and Carter, see, 205 is max for Logan. And we're sitting here looking at 224 pace. It looks like Carter's going to advance, even if Logan was to strike out. All he would need to do is stay behind the line and get some count.
Let's see what Logan can do finishing on lane 5. Good ball, left the 7-pin on the left-hand side. The Sheboygan South Red Wings. Logan Weigel.
And that'll do it for that one. Oh, my.
Another tough break for Ava Butt this time. This is a 9th frame, pivotal moment in the girls' match.
I tell you, Jesse and Norm, I would feel different maybe if this was someone other than Ava, right? She just hasn't, even though she's been in some situations where,
So you're calling the spare.
Yeah.
You're calling the spare. I love you. Hey, you know what? I'm on your train. I'm calling the spare, too.
Logan Weigel with a strike on his final shot for a 185. Ava Butt missed it all. She did go for it. 185 for Logan Weigel. He's going to finish in 3rd place in this competition. Great season for Logan Weigel.
Just a couple of early missed spares. That's ultimately going to be the difference.
Yes. Now, to give you a little update here on the girls' match. If Ashlee strikes out, she forces Ava to double.
And Ashlee will throw the rest of her frames right now. 9th frame, and then she'll throw the 10. Meanwhile, Carter Wescott just finishing up as he gets set for the championship match. It'll be Carter Wescott of Green Bay Preble and Braden Mallasch of Waupaca.
Well, that's going to be a phenomenal title match.
Ashlee Murawski threw a good ball. She liked it and left a single pin.
Yeah, she went with more speed there to try to get the ball to lay off, and darned if it didn't, and she just has to look at the solid 9.
And you just see the look of frustration.
Yeah, in her mind, she had to strike out, but that's not necessarily the case. If she spares this, gets the double in the 10th, she does force Ava to mark. Ava fresh off a 5-7, so mark is never guaranteed.
Ashlee gets the spare. .169 max for Ashlee Murawski of Kenosha Indian Trail. Senior for the Hawks, Ashlee Murawski. 51% strike percentage on the season, 2nd best in the district. Meanwhile, Carter Wescott finishing with all 3 for a 235. Ashlee Murawski. 8 count. So she really could have used the strike there to try and put the pressure on. But now she needs this spare. Can't get it.
Yep, and now mathematically, of course, over.
Yep.
And Ava will advance to the title match. She had a few chances late, did Ashlee. But neither player, right, could double. And you knew when that happens, it's just going to come down to just flat spare shooting. Who can fill the most frames? And to this point, that's belonged in the category of Ava, and it's going to continue in that direction.
The lane's breaking down. Both of the bowlers having a tough time adjusting throughout the course of this match, but ultimately Ava Butt's able to stay mostly clean throughout the course of the match, and she's advancing, hoping to run the gauntlet in this step ladder.
Here's the one thing I would say, Jesse, and with specifically for the girls match, with Juliana Bergman about to enter this pair, 1281 for 6 to get to this point, leading the girls division in singles. She's going to have more rev rate than every player we've seen so far in this division. She's a two-handed player. We were talking about two-handed bowl lever. So if anyone out there who's watching, and we appreciate you tuning in on Bullstream TV here on YouTube this morning, if you haven't seen any two-handed girls, you're in for a treat. She can play. And the carry percentages, not getting the 10 out. We might see the 6 now clip the 10 a couple more times with Juliana on the lane. But if Ava can do that, if she can find just 2 or 3 more strikes, Ava can find herself a singles champion.
172 to 146, Ava Butt over Ashlee Murawski. Ava advances to face Juliana Bergman of Sheboygan North in the championship match. Meanwhile, for the boys, 235 to 185. Carter Wescott defeats Logan Weigel of Sheboygan South. Carter Wescott of Green Bay Preble advances to face Braden Mallasch of Waupaca. Championship matches in the Stepladder final underway in just moments on Bullstream TV. Jesse Nelson, Emil Williams Jr., Norm Duke. We'll take a brief pause here and we'll be right back for the championship match. It's coming up on Bullstream TV.
Yeah, I watched Abby try to do it in Vegas. Ball speed was 2. Like, it took forever to get down.
BowlstreamTV.com, the Wisconsin High School Bowling Singles State Championships about to take place. Jesse Nelson, Emil Williams Jr., and special guest Norm Duke with you from Dale's Weston Lanes in Wausau, home of the 25th annual Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships. Stepladder final playing out throughout the course of this morning as you wake up with us on BowlstreamTV.com, especially for those of you that are here in Wausau joining us from across the alley at Dale's Weston Lanes. We know there's a lot of bowlers in the Storm Doubles competition on the other end of the center that join us watching live on the stream here on Bowlstream TV, but also friends and family of the bowlers and coaches and everybody back at home. We welcome you in this morning for this match. For the boys, it is the number 3 seed, Carter Wescott, the senior of Green Bay Preble, taking on the number 1 seed, Braden Mallasch of Waupaca. They're warming up on lanes 5 and 6 right now. Braden taking his final practice shots. Meanwhile, the number 1 seed for the girls, Juliana Bergman of Sheboygan North, warming up on lanes 7 and 8 as she enters to take on the number 4 seed from Wautoma, Ava Butt. Ava has run the gauntlet here in the Stepladder final, defeating RaeAnne Kalsto in match number 1, Madison Venne in match number 2, and Ashlee Murawski most recently in match number 3. For the boys, match number 1 featured overtime in high school bowling. 39-38 in the roll-off after tying at 193. Jack Steger of Antigo defeated Levi Gabriels of Bayport in the 2-frame roll-off. Then Jack Steger advanced where Carter Wescott, the number 3 seed, defeated him 235-223 in match number 2. Carter kept it going with a 235-185 win over Logan Weigel of Sheboygan South in the penultimate Stepladder final. So 235s in both of the games for Carter Wescott. That'll be something intriguing. That seems to be the magic number so far for him as we get set to play in this championship.
Yeah, that 235 is 5 pins worse than Braden's average for the 3 days. Yeah.
So we will find out how it all plays out here as the final practice shots being thrown by Braden Mallasch of Waupaca over on the left-hand side. Girls are all set, just about to get underway. Braden gets his last throw here. Juliana Bergman representing the Sheboygan North Golden Raiders. A 214 average on the season for Juliana Bergman. Fill percentage is 69.7%. That's 3rd best in District 7A, which is the greater Sheboygan-Fond du Lac area. Only Kennedy Slater and her teammate Jolene Bruce had better fill percentages in the district than Juliana Bergman. Ava Butt, mentioned some of the accolades for her a little bit earlier. Fill percentage, 80.5%, best in her district by 13% for the next best bowler. Strike percentage, 38.6%, best in District 9 by 9% over the next best bowler. She averaged a 189 over the course of the qualifying over the last 2 days. 6 games were rolled, 3 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, to get us to the Stepladder finals here on Sunday morning. Team competition to follow a little bit later this morning into the early afternoon on Bowlstream TV, but for now, the singles competition championship matches take center stage.
And before we start, Jesse, you know, we've called enough games, matches, tournaments, in multiple sports between us, and you can always tell from the crowd sometimes when things are the way they should be. And for the boys match, this group here, you know, said that these are probably 2 of the best in the state, and, you know, 2 of the favorites kind of coming into the week, and rarely does that happen when favorites kind of meet in the title match, and this is what we got for sure. And Juliana Bergman, I talked about her abilities, 2-handed player. You already saw her shape the lane a little bit differently in practice. Can Ava Butt strike enough here in this one?
Ava gets the first throw of the singles championship match. It's a 9 count over on lane 7. First throw for the boys belongs to Carter Wescott of Green Bay Preble. He's been hot. Comes up a little light on his first throw, but a single pin spare, very makeable.
Important note, too, in this match, so Carter's the top seed, or excuse me, Braden's the top seed, so he had the choice of who was going to start the match, and he elected Carter to begin, which means he's going to finish on the right lane, which means Braden's going to finish on the left lane. And in that regard, you think either A, Braden likes the left lane, or he wants to see his opponent finish.
Well, I can tell you what I did every time. If I made television, I always had the other person start should I have that, the choice.
Sure.
And the reason was because I did not want to wait and throw one frame. I wanted to go 2, 2, 2, and 2. If you lead the match, you throw a single frame and then 2, 2, 2, and then you finish. I always wanted to finish with 2 frames.
First throw from Juliana Bergman is a strike.
I'm not saying that is the best way to do it. I'm just saying that may have been what Braden's choice was.
You already see what Bergman possesses. I talked about what she was going to see. You would see a different shape in the girls' match once she hit the lanes. She's got more rev rate. Her ball is already hooking more on the back end than we've seen from any other previous player.
Braden Mallasch, strong start for the Waupaca Comet. 69% strike percentage on the year, best in his district.
I tell you what, he has not fallen off of a shot in 3 days. Just as solid at the line as you can. I can't even imagine being that solid.
Juliana Bergman, 2 in a row to start.
Wow.
Looks good.
That's where we're talking about future, right? And obviously the two-handed game has been on the boys' side of things for a very long time. Now we're at the point where we're starting to see more young ladies have success with the two-handed style. Juliana is just is just the latest player, and for most, they still haven't seen a lot of young girls with the two-handed style. And I told Jesse this earlier. I'm thinking about somewhere between 2028 and 2030, you'll start to see two-handed players on the PWBA tour.
No question about it. No doubt about it.
Braden Mallasch sets and fires on lane 5, and he's got a double to start. Both #1 seeds with doubles to begin their respective matches. Ava Butt comes up light with a 7 count on lane 8.
This is exactly what you want, right? You've got the fields. We've got kind of like a lower bowl field, right? If we were watching the game somewhere, we're kind of nestled right in the center of the lower bowl. We've got fans kind of like a half circle behind us. I mean, this is perfect.
I didn't even realize how the crowd had built up behind us here.
Emil, it is standing room only for about 40 lanes to my right. I just went that direction, and it was tough to get through them. Yeah, we got a crowd here. It's going to get loud.
Nothing like Championship Sunday. The Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championship. Singles competition first, team competitions to follow later today right here on Bullstream TV from Dale's Weston Lanes in Wausau. Ava Butt stays clean through 2 frames. Carter Wescott leaves a 10-pin on lane 6.
This is the real first time that Ava will have to strike to keep up and have a chance to win this match. And we knew that was possible, certainly with what Juliana possesses from that respect. But if she just continues to do what she's done, which is fill frames, she will give herself a chance still at the end of the match to keep it close and perhaps win it.
Carter Wescott fills, he's 2 for 2. And Ava Butt again right in the pocket, leaves the 10-pin. She'll have to make it again.
Yeah, you can tell she's moving inside just a pinch, incrementally. However, once she got to where she's now, that ball is just not rolling quite as good. That is going to give Juliana the advantage because she's got more rev rate, she's got more pin carry, she can stand a little bit farther left than Ava. This could be a really big game for Juliana. Excellent.
That's a good ball for Carter Wescott. First strike of the championship match. You know, it's interesting, guys. In this boys match, it really does feel like it's a best 2 out of 3 situation here because on Friday, Carter Wescott led all qualifiers with a 730 through his first 3 games. In the second round of qualifying on Saturday, Braden Mallasch led all the qualifiers with a 730.
Hey, this is what the crew said. They said, hey, this is 2 of the favorites. two of, like the top 5 certainly in the state. They're here. And, man, they brought everybody with them, too. And Juliana and Ava also brought everybody with them as well.
You could hear anything in this bowling center, even with the amount of people here, as Braden Mallasch was on the approach. And he's 3 for 3 to start the championship.
I can't believe how solid he is at the line. I just can't believe it. I bowl for a living, and I can't throw it. I can't make a shot and post it like that.
Juliana Bergman trying to match him 3 for 3. Yes, indeed.
Gosh, I'm glad I'm retired. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Norman, we couldn't think of a better person to have with us certainly this week. And every year we do this, Storm provides such a great pro and one of the GOATs to be here and watch this with us. It's priceless moments for us, too. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Emil speaks for both of us, Norm. It's been an incredible experience having you alongside with us today, and a pleasure.
Thanks. I'm enjoying it. I tell you what, we're going to get to watch these youngsters for a long time on television.
Braden Mallasch 4 for 4. Juliana Bergman on lane 7.
Oh.
9 and a wiggle, 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 but it will not go down. First non-strike of the championship match for Juliana Bergman of Sheboygan North.
Love to see Ava just kind of come back in frames 4 and 5 and double and kind of let Juliana know, like, hey, I know what you're capable of, but I'm still here.
That's what Carter Wescott's trying to do here on lane 6, and he hammers home a second consecutive strike. Carter not going away just because Braden's got 4 strikes to start.
No, this one's got like 260, 250 potential to it.
Juliana, I thought she might have pushed that a little left, and she did. So that's an open frame, and that's where Ava Budd can capitalize now.
100%. If she can double here, she will let Miss Bergman know for sure. But Ava has to continue to do what she's done, and she is close to running the ladder at this point, right? She's trying to finish the job.
Yeah, and there's certainly a difference between the finale and the first 3 games for her. You're just trying to move on for 3 games. Now you're trying to win the championship. It's such a different feel.
A little bit more risk than reward, too, in this situation as well.
Good ball for Carter Wescott, and he just leaves that 9-pin.
He's got a chance.
Ava Budd made an adjustment, but comes up high and leaves a split.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good off her hand. It looked like that she's trying to play a little more lay left, and that's what she, she rolled it pretty doggone good, it looked like. You've got rev rate for the first time, though, on lane 7 and 8. Juliana had about 5 minutes of practice, and that rev rate will change lanes a little bit quicker.
Carter Wescott knocks home his spare, and now what can Ava get? She'll take the 2. So open frames for both of the girls in the 4th. Juliana Bergman with an 87 to Ava Budd's 62 as they enter play in the 5th frame. Again, silence takes over Tails Western lanes, and then the big eruption of celebration as Braden Mallasch starts with 5 straight strikes. Ava Budd bounce back after the open frame, knocks down all 10 in the 5th.
Huge shot there. Big shot for Ava.
Yeah, she needed to put that hammer up there just so she can get up the next 2 shots and put a turkey. as her opponent is reading that score, she's got to give Ava a turkey in her mind. So at least that's a little more threat than what she was posting up there with the fourth frame, 7-2. Now, Braden Mallasch here on lane 5. I don't believe I've ever seen him miss. I have not watched him that much the last 2 days, but I don't believe I've ever seen him miss.
The number 1 seed, Braden Mallasch, with his first non-strike of the match in the 6th frame. 9 count with a 7-pin left on the left-hand side. What a start.
There was the Randy Peterson jinx again right there.
I gave you a look, but I didn't want to just throw you out there like that.
That was a pretty good shot he threw there.
Off the open frame, Juliana Bergman on 8, hammers home a strike. That's a bounce back.
Uh-oh.
Mallasch missed it. Didn't get enough movement coming across the lane. So that's a 147 for Braden Mallasch in the 6th frame. And it might be the slight opening for Carter Wescott to try and capitalize. Remember, he's in the second halves of his games. He's been stringing strikes together. Juliana Bergman, frame 6, lane 7, all 10. Juliana excited, the senior from Sheboygan North, with the state title in her sights. Carter Wescott starting to feel like gotta have it territory, and he gets it in the 6th. He is not out of that match by any means. Ava Butt on 8, still having a tough time where she leaves 2 on the right-hand side. Little baby split.
Yeah, the difference right now, I think, Ava's, I'm sure, has to feel like she's got to be perfect to strike, whereas Miss Bergman, Juliana, has room, an area to work with, and it's just a little bit of a style difference in that, which makes the difference here.
I couldn't agree more. Juliana is opening the lane up a little bit. She's got rev rate, which is giving her the pocket size. She's got a bigger pocket. Ava's just got to grind through this spot right here and try to throw haymakers at the end. Big shot here on lane 5.
Carter Wescott led all qualifiers after round 1 with a 7:30 series on Friday.
Beautiful.
Ended up as the 3 seed, Ava Butt. Meanwhile, the 4 seed for the girls connects on that split to stay in it. Heading into the 7th frame for the girls. Meanwhile, Braden Mallasch steps onto the approach in the bottom half of the 7th frame for the boys match.
Yeah, he missed a 7-pin on the left lane and then watched Carter get up and throw a double. That's 20. He had a chance to really put the hurt on.
Mallasch had a 7:30 yesterday to lead all qualifiers in the semifinals of the singles competition. Flexing as the number 1 seed here in this championship match.
Nice. Flex. I like that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well done.
Ava Butt, another 10-pin left on lane 7, and starting to look more and more like Juliana Bergman will be crowned a state champion.
Yeah, right now she's 36 pins ahead with a double up. She can end it with a couple more strikes, just, put it out of reach.
See your comment there, Kimberly, and everyone's comment. Thanks for joining us here today. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hit the thumbs up. Our singles competition and the team events will be, of course, available via archive as well.
Mallasch with another strike. Ava Butt misses the 10-pin left, and that's going to just about settle things in the girls' match. 110 in the 7th frame with the open for Ava Butt.
Yeah, that puts her almost 50 pins down with 3 frames. So Juliana would have to give Ava a little break here. And I just don't see it happening. She has, other than that, the spare miss, she shown any chinks in her armor. Big shot for Carter here on lane 6. Got to stay in this match.
He keeps the pressure on Braden with a strike, and he gets one. 3 in a row. 6, 7, 8. Carter Wescott on brand. We've seen it in each of his first 3 games now.
And that, to me, that's a great sign of a champion, right? Because as Norm knows, you know, how many times do you have to string strikes together, doubles, triples late in games, and some potential trouble, but nothing out of the ordinary yet. Ava will have to throw some strikes here late, but, you know, this is where the titles are won, in the back half of games. And Carter has shown the propensity, obviously, to, you know, make his presence known when it matters the most.
Is to pull within 1. Big shot, set up frame, 9th frame.
Biggest shot of the day for Carter Wescott. And he has 4 in a row heading into the 10th frame, putting all the pressure on the number 1 seed, Braden Mallasch.
I told you this had 260, 250 feel to it, and that's where we might end up.
Juliana Bergman takes the 1. Open frame in the 7th, so she stands with a 143. That's a 33-pin advantage heading into the 8th in the girls' match for Juliana Bergman over Ava Butt.
Ava's max score is 200 even. And so, as Norm mentioned earlier, that was one miss in the 7th. Another one in, it could be interesting.
Braden Mallasch working with 2 strikes in a row. Comes up high on the head pin, leaves 2 pins on the right-hand side. A 6-10 conversion opportunity in the 9th frame for Braden Mallasch, and it's getting interesting in the boys' competition.
And now the lead has shifted to Carter.
Yeah, Carter takes a 3-pin lead on that shot. Braden had to strike in order to keep everything on his side. Carter now can get up and double, and it's over.
Juliana Bergman, 8th frame. Comes up light.
This one not over yet.
No, she doesn't lose any count yet because of the open frame in the 7th. That 6 count on that open. But the problem here is the bucket. One of the toughest spare, non-split spares out there.
Don't want to underestimate how important that spare just was for Braden Mallasch.
Absolutely. I feel like someone I knew made a bucket to win a major once.
I did. Why? Because I left it.
And there she did too.
Juliana Bergman, big spare to stay in front.
Yeah, buckets are harder to shoot right after you choke to leave one. I know that. Okay, here's the situation. If Braden was to strike out for 245, that would force Carter to strike and get good count in the 11th. Anything less than a mark will win it.
Couple of heavyweights going at it here. Mallasch stuck it inside.
Wow.
It's a 6 count.
He did not see that coming.
Ava Butt could use a strike to put the pressure on Juliana Bergman, and she gets 9 in the 8th frame on lane 8.
Yeah, with this spare, she's still 33 pins back. She is going to need the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And then she's going to have some help.
Yep.
There's an announcement being made over, I think, in the Storm doubles portion. So Braden backed off, just kind of wait for that announcement, or at least allow it to just kind of become a part of his routine.
He has to make the spare to keep alive.
Looks good. Got it. Clutch shot, Braden Mallasch to stay in it. He can max 231 now if he knocks all 10 down. Ava Butt spare in frame 8. Stays alive in the championship match for the girls.
Quick housekeeping note, the team competition scheduled to begin at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, which obviously is not going to happen. So team competition will be up next following the conclusion of our championship matches, the awards presentation, And then we'll shut this stream down. You head on over to our team stream, and we'll be right back up and running, ready to see some team championships.
Oh, we have some gamesmanship going down here. This is a re-rack in the fill ball, okay? It matters none, okay? It matters none. But Braden re-rack just to give Carter a little more time to think about it.
Who says there's no defense in bowling?
Says?
I love it.
I've never done that.
I was just about to ask, have you ever re-racked on the field?
I invented it.
Braden Mallasch, final shot. All 10 for a 231 in the championship match. Whether he wins or not, an outstanding performance all weekend long by Waupaca's Braden Mallasch. And the senior delivers with a 231.
Yeah, he's looking back right now at that 9 miss in the 6th frame. If he had converted that, even with not filling the game like he wanted to, he would have forced a strike by Carter. You want to say any kind of mark wins, not if it's with poor count. Shot of his life.
Senior Carter Wescott of Green Bay Preble leaves the same thing Braden Mallasch did
Oh, my word.
in the 10th frame.
Wow.
So first of all, he's got to make the spare. So a spare and 8 wins by a pin, but he has to make this spare. It's the same shot that Braden
Just
left in the 10th frame. Braden made his spare, forces Carter to do the same.
Juliana Bergman strikes, and that will just about do it for the girls' match.
Oh, he does
Spare?
not like it. Oh, he
No.
does not like it.
Wescott opens the
Wow.
10th for a 222, and Braden Mallasch of Waupaca. 231 to 222. Braden Mallasch is the boys singles state champion.
Wow. You know, that's why they play the game, Emil. I mean, neither one of us saw a 6 count out of either of those guys. That will tell you what pressure does to you. I tell you what. I've lived it for 40 years. It's different.
Wow.
You were talking about posting shots and watching Braden. We hadn't seen Carter fall off any shots either, and he fell off that shot.
Meanwhile, Juliana Bergman for good measure. A 9 count left the 10, but that's good enough.
That's going to do it.
Juliana Bergman of Sheboygan North, your 2023 girls singles state champion.
Some really intriguing matches across the board. Starting out with the boys match, the opening match went to the roll-off.
Yes.
You knew that we were off and running then.
Oh, you knew it, yeah. And then you were calling 250, 260. I tell you what, you didn't see. You didn't see the overhook to the right and the 3/6 they were going to have to make. I tell you what. So both of our top seeds win the championship.
They win the championships. Yep, the number ones prevail.
Doesn't happen a ton.
And that's why you want that number 1 seed. You win one game, you're the champion.
Norm, you're taking that number 1 seed every time, right?
No, Lord, no.
No?
Heck no. You say, would I take it?
Yes.
Oh, I would take it, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I thought you were asking me
Like
if
if you were bowling, you would take the number 1 seed if you earned it.
Only because you're guaranteed second. That's the only reason. I've won more titles from the number 2 seed than I have from the number 1, though. I will say that.
A 202, the final score for Juliana Bergman of Sheboygan North. So Ava Butt will close things out here on lane 8.
What a great day she's had, though. You know, this is not her best game, but this was one great day for
And
this
it's
young lady.
not easy to come out at 8:30 in the morning after all the bowling that takes place here all weekend long for the team competition, the singles competition, and to run as much as she did through this stepladder final. 4 games this morning on top of everything you've already done. That's a lot to ask.
She bowled extremely well.
Well, not to mention she's one-hander, so she has to put her thumb in there. And so her thumb's probably not feeling that good. And every game we've had to wait 5 or 6 or 7 minutes for her. And then she's got to put that thumb back in that ball, yeah.
Ava Butt. And how fitting she picks up that spare in the 10th frame to get one final shot. Outstanding day for Ava Butt. She will finish in second place in this competition and take home $200 in scholarships from the Wisconsin USBC Phil Laporte Scholarship Foundation. That's amazing that it provides for all these bowlers competing in the singles competition here this morning.
Shout out to another GOAT, Dell Ballard Jr. in the chat. Appreciate you, Dell, supporting youth bowling here in Wisconsin this morning.
Final shot for Ava Butt. She'll get a round of applause from her fans. 163, the final for Ava. Second place in the competition this morning. Juliana Bergman of Sheboygan North. Braden Mallasch of Waupaca, your state champions. We'll have the trophy presentation coming up here in just a moment, so we'll step aside while we wait for that, and then we'll come back and say goodbye to Norm and get ready for our team competition here in just a moment.
That sounds great. I sure enjoyed being here with you guys. You guys are professionals in all regard, and thank you.
All right, table's coming out. We'll have our award presentation here in just a moment.
Are you handling from the table?
I think I'll just do it here.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
You want me to do it from here? Is that okay? Yeah, I didn't see that. I'll do it.
Right. But I know he really wants to.
Do you want me to do it with the headset on?
Actually, I think bowling.
I'll leave this one on so it can hear you.
Braden's bowling with Carter and doubles later this afternoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they teamed up together.
Nice.
I mean, they stay over at each other's house all the time, and they basically started out their whole high school career together. They don't live close. They live an hour and a half apart from each other. But anytime there's any game in Green Bay, Braden stays there. Or Carter stays
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get a round of applause for our singles finalists this morning. Thrilling bowling. Time now for our trophy presentation. And also a reminder, thank you to the Wisconsin State USBC Association for providing the Phil Laporte scholarships for the boys and girls singles finalists. Let's get a round of applause for the association and for Phil Laporte and the scholarships that are provided today. $500 to the first place winners, $400 second place, $300 for third, $200 for fourth, $100 for fifth. We will award the girls first. Finishing in fifth place from Kenosha, Tremper, RaeAnne Kalsto. Finishing in fourth place from Racine Case, Madison Venne. Third place from Kenosha, Indian Trail, Ashlee, Murawski. The 2023 Girls State Runner-Up from Wautoma, Ava Butt. And the 2023 Girls Singles State Champion from Sheboygan North, Juliana Bergman. Once again, let's hear it for all of our girls singles finalists. And now for the boys. Finishing in 5th place from Bayport, Levi Gabriels. Finishing in 4th place from Antigo, Jack Steger. Third place from Sheboygan South, Logan Weigel. The 2023 Boys Singles State runner-up from Green Bay Preble, Carter Wescott. And the 2023 Boys Singles State Champion from Waupaca, Braden Mallasch. Once again, everybody, let's hear it for our boys singles finalists. And thanks once again to Dale's Weston Lanes for hosting this weekend's event. We welcome those of you who are here for the girls team competition to stick around. We'll be getting out onto the lanes and starting that competition shortly after the lanes are oiled. Well, that's it for the singles competition. Emil, Norm, fantastic morning of bowling. This was incredible. The drama, the clutch performances, and the fun that we were able to have here together as well.
No doubt, no doubt. What I'm really enthused about is we get to expose these young athletes to these pressure situations now. And believe me, we just saw just how much pressure that they feel. And they're going to embrace that feeling. They're going to do it for many, many years now. And they've got our backs with this bowling thing. I tell you what, these kids are something else. They're amazing. They're great, great people. They're so well behaved. And I just want to say congratulations to doggone all of them for being champion.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning on Bullstream TV for the Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships. The competition continues. Emil, remind everybody they got to click a different link now to go watch the next event.
I just put the link into the chat, so it's ready to go, but just click Bullstream TV on YouTube. The upcoming team event is ready to go as soon as we log off here. The lanes are being re-oiled right now, so there shouldn't be more than 10 to 15 minutes before the start of the team event. And we're ready to go.
Girls Division 1 and 2 for the team coming up next, followed by Boys Division 1 and 2 after that. And that will conclude Championship Sunday here at Dale's Weston Lanes. Norm Duke, thank you so much.
Thank
what a
you.
pleasure.
Pleasure, Jesse. Thank you,
See you,
Emil.
Norm. Thank
Nice
you,
to
sir.
be with you guys.
Emil and I will be back for the girls team competition coming up next on Bullstream TV. Awesome. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Perfect, man. I'm definitely